Alright, looks like they're gonna launch the Red Wings again. Good. Our destination, Captain? Around the world, we're off on a reconstruction support mission to every nation in the land. Really, Captain? Does this look like a Treasure Cruise to you, Theodore? Did Biggs and Wedge teach you nothing? I'm sorry, sir. Where are we headed first? Dempsey and Edwards procured some building material for us. Roger. Off we go, Theodore. Yes, Captain. Alright, they're gonna take off. This is the end. The final end to the Final Fantasy IV story. Wow, after what? 15, 20 years, the story's finally over. The Red Wings take off. With the flight theme. Awesome. They even got curtains closing like it's the end of a good show or a movie or an opera. Guess all the characters are gonna come out. Say goodbye one last time. I have to say, this game surprised the shit out of me. I had no idea it was going to, number one, be a true sequel like it was. Number two, definitely was stayed true and loyal to the story of the original, continued it perfectly, pretty much copied the gameplay, and a lot of the expansion packs were just a rehash, but that ending, that last ending, which I took 20 hours to beat, was amazing. Like, it really wrapped up the story well. Everything about it was cool. Original ending, original new, new music, new bosses, having to fight all the bosses from previous Final Fantasies, having a story that actually wraps together all the Final Fantasy games, at least the 2D ones, explaining what the crystals were, and kind of explaining maybe why some of the bosses from the other games were at the end there. That made perfect sense. You can really tell that the makers of this game were hardcore fans of the original game. Because it really comes through. They wanted this to be a good game that was loyal to the original Final Fantasy IV, and I think they did a very good job of that. Now keep in mind, there were a lot of bullshit parts in this game, that's for sure. Like, some of those last fights at the end there, on the moon, why are there monsters randomly in random monster parties that kill your entire party with one hit, that are stronger than bosses? It makes no fucking sense. But they threw everything in here but the kitchen sink, man. They had Omega in the game. They had the Lord Dragon from Final Fantasy V. They had fucking bosses from Final Fantasy VI, Final Fantasy 1 and 2. Palom and Porum. Palom not paying any fucking attention. Oh, he's looking at Leonora, that's why. Just like Final Fantasy IV, and I want to say, unlike most of the recent Final Fantasy games that have come out, this game actually had an ending, a long ending, just like Final Fantasy IV. Final Fantasy IV had a really fucking long ending. So did Final Fantasy VI, and V for the most part. It was only until the 3D ones where they really started fucking over the people, Yes, I put 40 hours into a game and I get a 5-second ending clip that makes no fucking sense. Yeah, that's really how I want to feel at the end of my role-playing game experience. Like, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go to my Dark Side Phil Final Fantasy 13 channel and watch the end of Final Fantasy 13, how fucking shitty it is. Why is it that these people here were able to make a sequel to Final Fantasy IV with a good 15-minute ending that was amazingly better than the ending of Final Fantasy 13, and they didn't need any 3D bullshit, any CGI, any fucking professionally recorded music. You wanna know why? Because these people who made this game have something called talent, and that's not what the new fucking developers of all these new Final Fantasy games have. They have no fucking talent at all. Alright, these credits are fucking getting annoying now, but you know that this is the last installment, you know. Especially after all this, you figure the very first part, which is the introduction and Kane's story, was what, maybe 10-15 hours of gameplay, and then each expansion was about 3 hours, and there were what, 8 expansions, and then the finale was 20 hours, so this was about almost 60 hours of gameplay. I want to see when this ends, how many parts it is. It might be my longest playthrough, besides maybe Fallout 3 where I did all the optional missions, which I didn't do here. I didn't find all the optional items. Oh, they showed Fusoya there, so maybe he's not dead. Who knows? There's the 3 faces of Kane. Hooded Man, Dark Dragoon, and Holy Dragoon. And there's Theodore, the most wasted character in this game because he sucked dick the whole time. Even at the end of the game, he sucked. What the fuck was the point of putting him in if they weren't going to make him any good? Alright, this is the end. Very good. Excellent. Is that it? The end. Save your progress. Saving progress here will create import data. Yes. There it is. And that's it. No bonus content? Nah. Can you select a new story? No, you can't. Alright, so that's it. Finally, after 60 hours of gameplay, that's the end of my Final Fantasy IV The After Years playthrough. Overall, I thought the game was excellent. Obviously, there were some parts that I hated, as you know, if you watch part of the playthrough. Like, for example, any part of Edward's campaign, all I did was cry the entire time because it sucks so fucking hard. But that's because he's a shitty character, and they figured, well, we gotta have a campaign with him to tie up, you know, what happened to him, so. But overall, very, very true to the original game. I think that the makers of the original game are honored. I would at least hope that someone made a official sequel that was so fucking, you know, dead on. Really just continued the story well, represented the characters well. But in addition, I mean, this game's 60 hours long. The original game's only like 15 hours long. So really making something 3 times as long as the original game, but keeping true to the original formula was pretty crazy. And, you know, lots of interesting bonuses, like having bosses from the other games, having a story that actually ties up the stories of all the Final Fantasies 1 to 6 is pretty cool. So, and to be honest, if there was going to be a dream team of people who were going to take out the final boss, who basically created the worlds from Final Fantasy 1 to 6, I would have picked the team from Final Fantasy 4. And Final Fantasy 6 a close second, but these guys were fucking badass. They controlled the biggest summon monsters, the craziest magic that fucking summons meteors from the sky and shit. I mean, this is a hardcore team. So anyway, that's it. Final Fantasy 4. Thank the Lord I'm finally done with it. I am kind of relieved. I hope that you enjoyed it. At least the ending here is pretty interesting. And, finally on to other stuff.